The test of failure. Anyone here have never been tested by failure? You've never failed at your life? Okay, we all have, yes or no? How do you feel after you fail? You feel bad, you feel negative, you feel discouraged, you feel doubtful. Do you feel like continuing or quitting? Quitting. Do any of these things generate positive results? Okay, so the way you pass the test of failure by avoiding all these feelings. If you're a boxer that doesn't get hurt by punches, is it possible that you can get beat in a boxing match? It's actually impossible. If you're a person who does not get discouraged by failure, is it possible for you to avoid success? It's impossible for you to avoid success. If you never get discouraged by failure, what does that mean? That means you'll keep trying until what? Isn't persistence the number one quality of successful people? Yes. What is the number one quality you find in all successful people, no matter what the field is? Persistence. So don't you wonder, how does someone become more persistent and how someone becomes less persistent? Here's how. The way they look at failure is different. If I swear at you in Italian and you don't understand Italian, how much is that swear word going to affect you? Let's say I do it in a positive energy. I just swear at you in Italian with a smile. You're gonna be like, what a nice person. I don't know what they're saying, but they have a very good energy about them, yes? Okay. So let me explain this. And then we'll be done and then you guys chit chat about this stuff, okay? But let me explain this. You only get offended by swear words because of the meaning you attach to them. Does that make sense? Like, Persian people can relate to this. Somebody makes a mom joke, you're gonna stab them, right? Like Middle Easterns, like if somebody makes a mom joke, why? Because you feel like if you don't stab them, you betrayed your family or some shit, okay? Right? You're like, if I don't go to jail for this, I don't love my mother, so I gotta go to jail. But here's the reality. When people used to make mom jokes, you know how we had that little era where like mom jokes was the thing? Okay? I wouldn't get offended by any mom jokes because I'm like, dude, you don't even know my mom. You've never met her. Like, none of the shit that you say about my mom is true. Like, I know her, right? She's not any of the stuff that you're saying. Like, your mom's so fat. I'm like, actually, she's not. Like, her body to height ratio is very average. It's very good. But see, I wouldn't get offended because I'm like, this person is ridiculous. If you look at failure as a positive thing, it will not affect you negatively anymore. You're like, well, am I lying to myself? How are you lying to yourself when everything you've done came after many failures? If failure was a bad thing, how come everything you've succeeded in was followed by hundreds of failures? Actually, think about it. Anything you've succeeded in, what did you have to go through before you succeeded? Many failures. When you were learning how to walk, you had to fail many times at walking. When you were learning how to ride a bike, you had to fail many times at riding a bike. When you were first learning how to play the guitar, you had to fail a lot at playing the guitar. Yes or no? Yes. So failure is actually a necessity for success. So imagine if you think about it this way. Every time I fail, I get closer to success. Isn't that true though? Is it true or is it false? Yeah, it's true. But why don't we believe it? Because we're too used to believing that failure is bad. We're too comfortable with our current belief, so we don't want to change it to have a new belief. Look, the only way you're going to change your results is if you change your beliefs. That's it. Your whole life is a combination of your beliefs. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so the only way to change your life is to do what? The most important belief you need to change is your belief on failure. So it's not about failure, it's about how you react to failure. And if you react to failure by getting more excited, by getting more pumped up, by getting happier, you create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because now you take that enthusiasm that you just gained and you do better next time, and now you have a higher chance of what? Success. And if you fail, what's going to happen? You'll be even more enthusiastic. So now what's going to happen next time? This is the number one thing that helped me get to where I got to. That's it. And remember something. As long as you are growing, you will be tested. You know when the test stops? When you stop growing. As soon as you get comfortable, as soon as you get to a place where you're like, I'm good, you will not be tested by failure anymore because you're not growing anymore. So here's another perspective that I have. If I'm not failing, I'm not growing. Don't we all want to grow? Yes. Let me share one last thing with you and then we're done. Human beings are happiest only in one circumstance. When they're growing. That's it. You will not be happy when you get rich. You'll be less stressed, but you will not be happy. There's a difference, right? You'll be less stressed when you're rich, but you will not be happier. When you get a six-pack, you feel more proud, but you won't be happier. You know when you're happy? When you're going to the gym every day to get a six-pack. Every time you finish a workout, that's the happiest moment you have. Because you're like, I did something today to progress myself towards my goal. Yeah. You know when you're happiest? Not when you get the money, it's when you're pursuing it. Every day when you come home from the office and you had a really good work day, you're like, man, today I got one step closer. I'm so happy about it. That's why when you finish a movie, you go watch another one. Because it's not about finishing the movie, it's about the emotions you experience as you're watching it. So the journey is where all the joy is, not the results. So stop trying to fast forward to the end. Stop trying to be like, let me get to the end. Because once you get to the end, you know what you find? Boredom. You know what I am most of the time? Bored. Unless I'm growing. Trust me. Even if you have a lot of money, there's only so much you can do. There's only so many trips. But I'm happiest when I come to a session like this, when my voice goes out and afterwards I'm like, okay, maybe I did good on this part, I did bad on this part, but we're one step closer now. That's when I'm happiest, not when I'm in Miami. When I'm in Miami, I'm enjoying it, but I'm happiest after a session like this. Does that make sense? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.